There are two things that are infinite: femininity and the means to take advantage of it. This is Rebooty and the Beast, a podcast in two parts. I'm Ann Burke.
And I'm Matt Molinaro, and in the first episode, we review an original piece of media, and in the subsequent episodes, we'll discuss the rebooty type media.
That's right, and this is our new original piece of media, La Femme Nikita.
I almost want to do like a sound effect afterwards.
Bum-ba-da-bum.
I was thinking more like, dun-dun.
Oh, like the Law and Order sound effect?
Kind of like action-y, adventure, mystique.
Well, it's really funny you did the Law and Order sound because one of my notes about this movie is that whoever did the score, like whoever was in charge of the music, must have only had access to like Law and Order music because it was the music in the score in this movie was fucking nuts. I just have to say
about the
that.
music, and we are of the same brain. Maybe it's because we did a Law and Order themed podcast before, but or maybe because I've watched an excessive amount of it. But yes, I agree 100% with the Law and Order music.
It was really a lot of the time the music was very distracting in this movie.
It was like another character, I would say.
The third character was the score. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this came out in 1990. I've never seen it before. I've only seen the TV show Nikita, the one with Maggie Q, which I think will be kind of our last thing that we cover.
Yeah, this is the little 4x4. Be doing
Yeah.
the two movies and then the two TV shows. And they all kind of happened in that order anyway, so that's perfect. We'll just do it in that order.
I did read last night that this movie was made into another movie in Hong Kong and another one in Bollywood.
I did see that as well. I thought it was like very commonly adapted.
Yes. I don't know if we could find those though, so we might still just stick with our two movies, two TV shows.
Yeah, listen, if they ever do another Nikita thing, we can dive in and see if we could find that the other versions. But
yeah,
I had never seen it either. I had heard of it because of I didn't even know it was a movie, honestly.
Oh yeah, okay.
I just knew it was a TV show, and I actually didn't know about the reboot with Maggie Q that you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
I only know of the original like TV series in the 90s, I'm presuming, because I might have mentioned this before, but I know I mentioned it to you. It was like always on the TV Guide channel on like USA or TNT. And it was
That's
like
so funny.
La Femme Nikita, and I was like, "Ooh, that sounds like
saucy."
Exactly the word that came to my mind. Like, "Ooh, that sounds saucy." And you know me, a female-led anything. Come on.
And so you've never seen any of the movies or any of the TV shows?
I probably I'm wondering when we watch the first TV show if it'll hit me.
Okay.
Because I probably have seen randomly, but not in any significant way. So I definitely didn't know the storyline, was going in very fresh, very curious.
Okay. So I had obviously I've seen Nikita, the TV show, and I really liked it. I thought it was super fun and great, and I love Maggie Q. And there's another actress in there who I think is actually pretty famous for something else, and I can't place her off the top of my mind. But so I knew kind of the storyline going into this movie, that I was like, okay, yeah, I bet this is what's going to happen next, kind of thing. And I was right.
Okay, well, yeah, this was back in 1990, so I'm curious to see how it evolves over time, for sure.
And spoiler alert for everyone, this movie is in French, and honestly, like, I think most translated films, I'm sure some things get lost in translation, because there were a few lines of dialogue where I was like, what are they? Those words don't make sense to respond with. What's going on here?
Yeah, there's definitely a few lost in translation moments for sure.
Especially the musical moments.
Interesting.
And to be clear, not musical like everybody suddenly bursts into song, but like a single person starts singing a song and you're like, what's this?
What's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And not with like a score behind it.
No. Oh boy.
It's almost like one person decided they were in a musical every once in a while and no one else agreed.
Yes. Again, much like the person doing the score maybe had access to about like $5 and a Kit Kat to pay for all the music. It feels like sometimes the actors, directors, and person doing the score were in different conversations about this movie.
I love a Kit Kat. Yes, I completely agree. Decisions were made. Independent decisions were made.
Yes. And not just like, no, yeah, anyway, we'll get into it. Okay.
Yeah, so
Tell me the summary.
Okay, so... And also, by the way, the official name of this, when it came out originally, was Nikita.
Yes.
But it was in America, ironically, La Femme Nikita.
Yes.
I saw it came out in 1990. I didn't bother digging into this. I'm assuming that was the original release, not when it came out in America. Or maybe the same.
I think it might have been like 89 in France. But 90, I think, is when it came out in the US.
Okay. That actually is helpful, because it helps explain some of the music.
And some of the hair.
Yeah, exactly, because 89 means filmed in 88.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so we're getting closer back to the late 80s. Just making sure I have that right. So the summary is: convicted felon Nikita isn't going to jail. She's given a new identity and trained stylishly as a top secret spy/assassin. I am just going to start adding stylishly into, like, as an adverb.
Especially for when it doesn't make sense. Like, she was trained as an assassin stylishly. Or like, I made the most amazing steak last night stylishly. And
have you seen that creator on Instagram that's like normalized bucking at people at inappropriate times?
No, but I can picture it.
I'm gonna send it to you. It's amazing. She also has started doing a thing where she says, start doing air quotes at random times in conversation.
Oh my God, yes. Like, I've seen that one where it's like, congrats on your new baby. And like, just put the air quotes on like different pieces
exactly.
of that.
Okay. And yeah, I mean, we normally go over the cast. It's a French film from the 90s. I don't know any of these people, but
I did know one person.
Oh, who?
Well, I'll tell you later.
Okay, but the Nikita is Anne Paralod. I'm sure I'm saying this wrong. It also stars Jean Hughes Anglade, and I'm gonna stop there.
How many really bad French accents are we about to attempt in this episode?
I mean, probably many. And this also reminds me, yesterday Davey asked me who the skunk was that Pepe Le Pew was in love with.
Yes.
That
he was in love with. Well, it was a cat that he was in love with.
That's what we came to in the conversation. Because first I was like, oh, I think it was Fifi. And then I remembered that was Tiny Toons. That was like his kid protege. So we realized it was a cat. So, speaking of French stereotypes, Pepe Le Pew.
That's the end of the story. Okay, got it.
So, the opening of the film.
Yes, we open on 3 men and a woman dragging an unconscious woman through the streets of, I can only assume, Paris?
That's what it felt like, and it felt very like, ooh, punks in the streets of Paris.
There was a lot of punk vibes in this movie, and it definitely was Paris because I forget there was a like B-roll footage later of the Eiffel Tower.
Eiffel Tower, yeah.
So these folks are dressed very like 80s punk, and
we got mohawks, we got shaved in swirls on our head, we got leather jackets with spikes.
It wasn't shaved in swirls. It was a tic-tac-toe board. So he had like a grid and X's and O's, and I was into it.
I didn't notice that. That's kind of fun.
Amazing. So they're like breaking into a pharmacy, and there's one woman who says like, I need it. And spoiler alert, that's Nikita.
Yeah, she's very catatonic at this point. Like, I need it. Like, her lips are crusty. They're really letting you know she is sedated. She is addicted. She is not fully there.
Yes. One of them has the keys to the pharmacy for some reason we don't yet know. And then the other guy who has an axe just starts smashing at the door handle with an axe. And he's like, hey, I have the keys. And then Axeman says like, I zapped it. And then I guess his name is Zap. And so like it's this weird moment of like we're meant to believe like this is how he approaches every problem in his life. He like zaps it, whatever. And setting it up as though he is going to be a character we'll see for more than the next 5 minutes, but spoiler alert, he's dead in 5 minutes. So I don't know why we needed that moment, but okay.
Yeah, they just thought maybe here's my theory. The actor who played Zap was someone's relative in some way or had some sort of importance and was like, I think Zap should have a backstory.
Right, and he should use his name as a adverb.
Yeah, they're like, let's give him some sort of motivation for 5 minutes.
Yeah. So they get inside. We cut away for a brief moment to see like a man in bed with a woman with curlers, and he's like loading a shotgun. And here's another thing I have to say about this movie generally. There's a lot of like storytelling elements in movies, like montages that show you like passage of time and things like that like don't make sense, that they didn't employ. And so I was confused for a good amount of this movie just because those things weren't happening. And an example of that is usually, so this man loading the shotgun lives above the pharmacy. Like he's the pharmacy owner and he lives right upstairs. And he clearly has heard them break in and is loading a shotgun to like defend the property, but we don't see him hear the noise. And so suddenly you just cut to a man loading a shotgun wearing like a dress, like a robe, and you're like, who is this man? And then you're like, oh, I guess he must live upstairs. So it's just things like that didn't happen a lot in the movie, and so it felt very strangely like I as the audience member had to like guess what was happening a lot of the time.
Yeah, this movie was missing a lot of moments where they should have paused the film and they should have put up a panel on the screen with like some kind of like background music, trivia music. And it would say something like, why do you think this man is getting out of bed with a shotgun?
Yeah.
And give you like, as an audience member, multiple choice options and then continue, because in a few minutes you might find that out. And that happens a lot.
Yeah, it does.
There's a lot of
really
moments
does.
of like assuming you know something that there's no possible way to assume. Like like you just said, this scene, I was like, oh, I guess that guy is hearing something, some sort of commotion, but where is he? Because they make no like connection to the room he's in with his wife, to the location that they're in robbing.
Right, exactly.
Even when they're robbing it. Like I had made the assumption he must live above the place, but I was kind of crossing my fingers waiting to see if I was right until he came through the door.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, there he, hey,
yes,
hey, we got it.
That's exactly right. So he comes downstairs. We learn that one of the young men who is robbing the pharmacy is his son, and so that's why he had the keys. But of course, zapped it and woke him up. And then the cops show up, and there's a giant shootout. The whole time, Nikita is just kind of like comatose, sitting under like a countertop. So everybody dies in the shootout except for one cop. And then he like comes up to her to like try check on her and see if she's okay, and then she shoots him in the head.
Yeah, it was okay. So speaking of things that they make you guess, the shootout is intense, like it's crazy. You know, it's wild. I don't know if it was a setup or it's wild. And then they randomly, maybe once through this whole scene, cut to Nikita sitting there. They don't really explain why she's just like not moving at all through this really, really intense shootout, like really, really wild. And then when the cop gets to her, she's wearing headphones. Are we to believe that the reason she didn't hear any of this is because she's like kind of like sedated from being strung out and wearing headphones?
I don't think she didn't hear it. I think she was just like basically
given up,
you know, kind of like strung out, comatose, like dissociated from the world around her.
Yeah. And then when she says to the cop, there's none left, like there's no drugs, it's like, oh, well, I'll just kill you.
Yeah.
They don't explain like why any of that happened. They don't quite explain why she's in this position.
Right.
And so at this point, I was thinking she shot him. I'm like, okay, something's up with this whole situation, obviously, and we're going to find out, like, her backstory now.
Incorrect.
Incorrect.
So The next scene we see is her in prison, and not in like what you would typically see as like a prison cell. She was being kept in like literally a little like oversized dog cage,
Yeah,
which I
like a
was like,
kennel.
my God,
Yeah,
what the fuck is this?
yeah, like a little holding area with many others. But hey, okay,
Yes.
I don't know.
And so she gets taken to like a, head police officer man who like asks her for her full name, and she says Nikita, and he slaps her across the face for not giving him her full name, and she retaliates by stabbing a pencil through his hand.
Yes, and
And then,
screaming,
yes,
"My name's Cutie."
yes.
I, I,
And
I don't understand.
And then, like, faster than your brain can process, we are now in court to her being sentenced to having murdered 3 police officers and is sentenced to life in prison with 30-year minimum before parole.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and she is kind of you can tell that through this whole process, she's sort of like just an observer of all of this. She's not really much of a participant unless she's like acting out or screaming.
Okay, so Matt, I would say when she, in this entire movie, when she is not at a 10, she is at a -10. Like, she is either comatose or screaming for the majority of this movie, mostly in the beginning, but the way that she acts is like a human who has never been on Earth before. Like,
Yes, like
she is brand new to the world
right,
in
found in the
her.
woods.
Yes, it's really strange.
Found in the woods. I don't understand. And so I was like really convinced. And for the whole movie, I was really convinced that I had figured something out.
Okay.
I thought, okay, at some point, the big kind of reveal, or there's going to be a big reveal moment in this movie that every activity that we see play out for the rest of the movie is actually because Nikita herself has had some sort of troubled past, has some sort of special thing about her. Maybe she was like taken when she was young. Maybe her family was killed when she was young by the people who she'll eventually be involved with something.
Yeah.
And because of that, she was in this terrible situation and then ended up with these people we see at the beginning of the movie because like life just like was terrible to her for so long. And now they're like trying to get her back for some reason because they're like, oh, we actually need you for something that we, were experimenting with you on earlier or something. You know what I mean? Like she had fulfilled something for them and now they were using her. I just had some sort of, I believe there was this backstory we were going to get.
Yeah.
Because what was the explanation for why she was acting like a human raised by coyotes?
We never know.
We never know. But she has a cute leopard vest.
She did. Yeah, we literally never know. We never find out anything about her backstory prior to like these moments that we've seen on screen, really.
Right.
Like we never find out a thing about her family, her past, nothing.
Nothing. But I didn't understand. But even so now she's in the courtroom and like you said, this is just like a rapid time movement without telling us. And when they like sentence her, she is so outraged, she rips the banister off like the defendant box. As she's being dragged out. It takes like 12 people to drag her out.
Yeah.
As they play late 80s synth music.
Yes. The music. Oh my God. Okay.
This is the first arrival of the music.
So she's screaming. She's like assaulted one of the officers again while she's being dragged out. And then literally jump cut. So she's being dragged away and then jump cut to her being like restrained in this big, weird, like what looks like an abandoned factory or something like that. And there's like men in lab coats opening up like a security case and pulling out like a syringe. And she's like, I don't want to go like this. Like, why isn't my mother here? Like, surely my mom would have like shown up for this. Like, And so I'm like, wait a minute. The sentence was just life in prison, and now we're executing her because of what? Like because she fought an officer while she was being taken away. Like it really did not make any sense to me why she was suddenly being executed.
It was very confusing. It didn't make any sense either. And I was like, okay, they're gonna explain this. They're gonna. I was like, maybe they're just sedating her to like do some sort of like I don't know experiments on her, and we're gonna. I didn't know what was gonna happen, but I was like,
yeah.
it doesn't make sense. I must be misunderstanding this because this looks like they're killing her.
Yeah. And, she loses consciousness and then wakes up in this all white room. And so she wasn't actually killed, but a man in black walks into the room, and his name is Bob. And he basically explains to her that like they faked her death. So she's they held a funeral, and she they show her photos of her own funeral. And basically she's like, what is this? And he basically tells her like she can choose to be dead and they will kill her, or you can serve your country and like be a secret assassin kind of thing. Although the like specifics are never outlined. It's just like you can serve your country.
Yeah, you're gonna learn to do. You're gonna like learn to. He says you're gonna like learn to talk, walk, breathe, and all this basic stuff human beings do, and then you'll also learn to fight.
Okay, no, he says you'll learn to read, walk, talk, smile, and fight. And I was like, she can't read, and she can't talk. I don't. Okay, it was very strange.
And I mean, of course, smile is very important in there too.
Exactly, learn to smile. And so she says, like, I'm tired. Can I think about it? And he says, yeah, sleep on it. I'll be back in an hour. And I was like, an hour to sleep? Anyway. Right? Okay, I have to pause here. We've got to talk about the hair.
So they think, I believe in this movie, that they are making drastic changes with her hair throughout the film.
Correct.
To like show us the passage of time or certain events that are important to show a shift in character But every time, maybe with the exception of one, every time throughout this entire movie that they quote unquote change the hair, it is almost identical.
Correct.
And that hair, I personally think it was iconic, but the whole time we were watching it, Davey was like, have they invented a comb?
Apparently not. It literally looks like an ostrich. Like there is just hair in every direction imaginable. And I thought for sure, I could not stop fixating on how disgusting the hair was for like the first 20 minutes of this movie. And then I was like, oh, this is so that when they do the like spy montage and she becomes like a trained assassin and whatever, they can like change her hair to like show you just how much she's changed. But instead, they give her a wig that looks almost identical to her already disgusting hair.
I couldn't understand what was happening. Her hair, to describe it, is like if Sally Field and Mrs. Doubtfire had been through a lot. Maybe had been through like a wind tunnel or had walked through a car wash.
Or stuck her finger in an electrical socket, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's so Winona Ryder on her way to being styled for a Tim Burton film, but not quite there yet. It's wild.
Yeah.
And then they give her a wig. So that's her normal, I'm strung out on whatever hair. And then it's also like they cut her hair, by the way, when they capture her. Before she's questioned by this man in black, when we see her in this like white room, they kind of cut her hair, but it's like you went in for like a trim and barely nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then the wig they give her, I don't know why they gave her a wig. I kept wondering when it was going to go on her head, and then she was taking it off.
Yes.
To reveal the same hair underneath. Yes. What's happening?
Okay. All right. So,
but then I do like at this point where like, she obviously I'm sorry. So she says she's given an hour to think about it, but when he comes back, she smashes him in with a chair.
Yes.
On the head. So she's decided not to do it.
Yeah, and she like takes his gun and takes him hostage to like get her out of the building, and you see like all these people at desks and computers, and finally she's like, open the door, and he says, I can't, and then she's like, I'm gonna kill you, and he says, it's not loaded. And so she
wait,
okay,
before you continue with this very dramatic scene, can you describe the music playing in the background as she is walking him out with a gun in front of all these people and he's begging for his life?
Yeah, those videos of like a raccoon painting or like a dog painting, it's like that, but instead of painting, they've handed the raccoon a xylophone, so it's like plink plonk noises randomly.
It was very plunky.
Yes.
I was like, what is happening? Is this a
It's
comedy?
the music is so fucking weird in this movie. I can't handle it.
Yeah.
Okay, so he says it's not loaded, and then she like is overcome with emotions. She like lets him go and very slowly turns the gun on herself and starts to put it in her mouth and pulls the trigger as he like lunges at her to stop her, and then he grabs it away. It clicks, it doesn't go off, but he grabs it and she falls to the ground, and then he uses that same gun to shoot her in the leg and says, "Rule number 1, the first bullet is not for you." And I was like, I don't understand what that rule means, and I also don't understand why you just said it's not loaded if it was.
Yeah, I don't know if that was like some sort of like trick. Like,
Yeah.
I knew you'd get the guns, so I put it in a second. I don't know.
Yeah,
It
this
was
was one of
dramatic.
those moments. This was one of those moments where I was like, maybe something is being lost in the translation from French to English, because it didn't quite. It wasn't a 1-to-1.
I just assumed he's not really good with these lines, but he tried.
Okay. And then here's another thing I need to point out. She gets shot in the leg. The blood, the wound that we see in this gunshot is below her knee. And then in the next scene, we see her in her room bandaged up, and the bandage is on her thigh. And I was like, that's not where she was shot.
That's what Davey said too.
Okay, I'm glad it wasn't just me. All right, thank you.
I was like, maybe she was just really dramatic when she got shot, and she...
I don't know. So she begins her training as an assassin. And her first lesson is using a computer. She has apparently never seen a computer before, which, granted, it's the late 80s, early 90s. It's not like everybody had one at that point. But her first computer lesson seems to be using Microsoft Paint.
Yes.
Like, he shows her how to like wiggle the mouse around and make a doodle and click around in Microsoft Paint. And I was like, I'm not the head of an assassin agency, but Microsoft Paint wouldn't be high on my list of skills to teach. That wouldn't be day 1, lesson 1, I don't think.
No. He's literally teaching her Microsoft Paint, and when they like pan around her and they're playing that plunky music that you hear in like a montage of in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Yep.
And she's doing paint on the screen. And not only is she learning Microsoft Paint, but she's doing that thing you did when you were like a teenager, a tween, where you like scribble lines and then randomly fill in the random spots and it looks like garbage.
Yes.
She's doing that. And he's like, good job.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was like, this is interesting. What's next?
Next
is to get a makeover.
Yeah, well, it's coming. Next is the firearms training, where he's like, here's how you hold a gun. This end goes toward the bad guys, and then she like just takes one and like fires randomly at a target, and kind of it's one of those moments where like you don't see the target because you're seeing it from the vantage point of like her firing at the camera. Mm-hmm. But then like the target comes back and it's just like blown to bits. And so it's one of those moments again where the audience needs you to hold the director needed to hold our hands as an audience a little bit more sometimes. Because I was like, the people in the room, again, a lot of the acting in this is like people looking like they have never seen the world before. And so, and maybe it's, I don't know, but as a viewer, I was like, was that good? Like, I truly didn't understand what I was supposed to take away from that scene. Like, were they all impressed with what a good shot she was? Or was it meant to imply that she only knows how to like overkill instead of like be like strategic and like effective? Like, or were they all like, this is bad? I wasn't sure what I was supposed to take away from that scene.
Yeah, I think they were trying to say that she was good, but it was unclear because all they implied was that she's confident.
Yeah.
Because she just shoots very confidently, and then you're kind of expecting... I was expecting the paper to come back and have, like, very a bunch of shots like right in the center of the heart or head or something
That's
like that.
exactly what I was expecting too, but instead it's just like barely held together.
Yeah, it's like hanging by a thread. And it was like she just has a regular gun and she only shot about 6 or 7 times. So how is that even possible? And that didn't do what they thought it did. But I think they were trying to say she was good, and that's like the only thing she's good at is killing. Which again, I was like, okay, we got some kind of backstory. She was trained to kill and she didn't even know it.
Yeah. Then we see her in a martial arts class where the instructor is like, okay, we're going to do a reflex test. And he like gets into his defensive stance and he's like, now just try to hit me. And she slaps him across the face, which I was like, this man was wearing a black belt and knew she was about to try to hit him. And he didn't block the slap of a woman who's never fought anyone in her life before. I was like, that's just it's so improbable to me. And so I was like, oh, is she going to be like this amazing fighter that we like don't know about later?
Right.
But the answer to that
makes sense. She's got some sort of backstory we don't know about. She's been trained. And I was like, maybe she's been trained by these exact people.
Yeah.
Was used for a mission and is getting retrieved.
Right. No.
No, but I do know she loves to chew gum.
Oh my God, the gum chewing nonstop. So then her next lesson, she goes like upstairs to this like fancy room, and there's this like old woman drinking tea who her like first words she says to her are basically like, well, you look like shit.
Yeah.
And
she says, we'll make you into a human being.
yes.
And hold on, because speaking of us having to figure things out, I still don't know where this is, because every other location she's in is like a warehouse.
Yes.
Or the dojo, by the way.
Yes,
like,
yes.
Literally like a dojo. Like she went to the Karate Kid set. And then now she's in like a genie lamp.
Yes.
In an attic. Where? Who is this? Where is this? What's happening? Who is this woman? I still don't know.
And the weirdest part about this to me too is she just like is wandering around. There was no like note saying go up to the attic and talk to the old lady, or nobody saying like, hey, it's time for your makeovers, so you stop looking like a fucking scarecrow. Like,
right.
It was as though she stumbled upon it, but then it was like part of the expectation that like, yes, you're here for your beauty makeover. This lady is going to teach you how to be graceful and beautiful and whatever.
Which is now reminding me, I didn't make this connection before. When she was told what she was going to learn, she has to learn how to smile.
Yes, because the woman basically is like, you're not very pretty, but if you smile, it will be nicer for other people. So she's like, look in the mirror and smile. And instead, Nikita just like tilts her head side to side and appears to try to be like holding back tears. And I'm like, why are you almost crying right now? Like, I guess, I mean, you've been through some stuff. We still don't know what it is, but maybe you're very traumatized, I guess.
Yeah, it's like a long drawn out, like trying to coax a smile out of her. And I kind of liked this because I thought it was going to get to some sort of like, oh, she's really disconnected from her feelings because of blank, you know? Like,
right.
She can't even smile. It was very distracting because the woman who plays Amanda, this woman who is like a hybrid of like Lucille Bluth and like Barbarella, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's like rubbing her under her lip and saying things like, smile, smile.
Yeah.
It's easy.
And she puts the wig on her, which looks exactly the same as her regular disgusting hair. Only like it looks like her gross hair, but a wiggy version of her gross hair. So it's like you could not attract more attention to this hair if you tried.
No, and her old hair sticks out underneath it, and it's short anyway.
Right.
And it still sticks out underneath it.
And so when she's in the cafeteria in the next scene and Bob comes up to talk to her, he says, the wig suits you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It looks the same, but worse.
Yeah, I was like, where's the wig?
Right. So she asks him, like, hey, it's my birthday next week. Can I have some freedom and like leave this training facility that we've presumed she's being held hostage in, even though that's never really been outright said other than that scene where she tried to escape. And she's like, can I have some freedom even if you tail me? And he says no.
Which, by the way, the room that she's in, that white room that we see her in, that she wakes up in, where am I?
Yeah.
Is now styled more like a dorm.
Correct.
So she kind of is like chilling there. She's got like a Metallica poster a Meatloaf poster on the wall.
Meatloaf, yeah.
So it doesn't seem. It was very unclear to me. It felt, yeah. And we find out she's turning 20 at this birthday.
Yeah.
Thank God. I was like, how old is that? I don't know.
There's a scene where she brings a gift to the computer teacher guy, and inside the box is an actual mouse, and he screams when he opens it, and she starts singing at the top of her lungs some kind of song, but it wasn't subtitled, so I had no idea what she was saying.
Yeah, she was just randomly singing as they were horrified by a mouse. These people who were training killers and assassins were horrified by a lab mouse, and she's singing for a while.
Yeah.
Loud.
And then another completely fucking unhinged scene happens. She's back in martial arts class. The instructor like summons her up to the mat and immediately like tosses her to the ground and like gets on top of her and is basically like about to tell the class like, this is how you subdue somebody. And she bites his ear and kicks him in the face and then starts dancing a jig like a puppet child. Like, okay, the perfect example that everybody will know is the end of the movie Pearl, where Mia Goth is doing that crazy fucking dance on stage. That is how she is dancing in this scene. It is inexplicable, unsettling, and
it's like
for
the
some
Joker.
reason, it's like the Joker. And for some reason, Bob, who is watching through like a one-way window, it finds this amusing. And I'm like, this doesn't scream assassin potential to me. Because again, she's doing these things like she fires the gun and maybe it's supposed to be proficient. She manages to slap the instructor when he had his guard up. She like, you know, gets out from underneath him by biting him. And so like as a viewer, I was kind of like, am I supposed to believe that she's like unconventional but effective? Like, is that what we're meant to understand about this? But instead, it just all feels very incoherent about like everybody's assessment of her until we get this scene like where Bob is talking to his boss and the boss is like, we should just kill her. She's useless. And he's like, she has potential. And the boss says like, okay, you have 2 weeks to turn her around. And after that, she's out.
Yeah. And then the very next scene is a close-up of her doing her makeup in she goes to a vanity that just is around in this warehouse. And she is starting to do her, looks just stare at herself. Oh, and then Amanda comes over with the ugliest lipstick shade I've ever seen.
Yes.
And then we see like a slow-mo of her teaching her how to put lipstick on her mouth.
Yes.
But it looks like she's never held an item in her hand in her life.
Correct. I literally, my note said, she looks at this lipstick like it's her first day on Earth. Like,
yeah, like, what do I do with my hand and this item? And then she puts it on her mouth in a way like she is actually a doll made of plastic.
yes.
With a plastic hand and a plastic face that doesn't move. Like she's like
Yes.
tapping it against her mouth and rubbing it back and forth, but not actually making any contact.
Correct.
And then we get this very slow, creepy fade to her putting the makeup on a little bit more proficiently, but still incredibly slow and over and over and over and over again.
Yes.
And this is like her makeover now.
Yeah. And we hear Amanda saying, let the pleasure be your guide, your pleasure as a woman. And don't forget that there are two things that have no limit, femininity and the means to take advantage of it. And it's like, what? And so again, I'm like, are they training her to be like a sexy assassin? Because that is not her role for the rest of the movie. It's not like she ever like seduces anyone or anything.
No, and it was strange that they had this focus on it. And the music they're playing is very like Spice Channel.
Yes, there's saxophone Spice Channel.
Yes, I was like, where are we going with this? And also, it's unclear that time has passed because we've been watching this makeover for about a year and a half.
Yes.
But at some point random, I had assumed time must have passed, and then we find out it's been 3 years.
Yeah, which again, they don't tell you explicitly, and they don't do a good enough job of making you understand that time has passed, because I was like, wait a minute, her hair looks slightly better.
This is the only time the hair makes any sort of different shift at all.
Yes.
Because it's like shorter now. Like it's more like a short to her head Linda Evangelista kind of cut.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Linda Evangelista is the perfect description of that haircut. Yeah.
Right? She looked like one of those stylized
Like the Patrick Nagel paintings.
Exactly. Yes, you always know the name of that artist. Like the hair salon ones.
Yes, exactly. And she's like doing mascara and all of that. And then suddenly she's like looking like a sexy secretary at
Like
the
Sabrina.
computer. Yes, she does look like Sabrina. The 90s Sabrina, not the 50s Sabrina.
Yes, and not the teenage witch.
And it's her birthday again, and Bob is there to take her to dinner. And this is another thing that makes no sense. She's like, why are we going out to dinner? Or why are we going to dinner? And he says, it's your birthday. And she sits down, like in the warehouse, there's this like whole table set with like a tablescape, wine glasses, etc. And she sits down at that.
Full
tablescape. And then he's like, no, we're going out to dinner. And I'm like, well, then what is this fucking table doing here? Like, is this, what was that about?
I picture like a cook, a chef, and their team with like all of this food made, and they're like, God damn it.
God damn it. Yeah. I can only assume it was like training, like a training table for like table etiquette so that assassins know how to like eat properly and use the right silverware and stuff to like infiltrate high society, maybe.
Please.
But
it was just a trick because they wanted to trick her.
I guess. So they go to a fancy restaurant and
that's putting it lightly.
They
go into a jewelry box.
Yeah, it's like a palace. There's like gilded walls and gilded ceilings, and it's very fancy. He orders the most expensive champagne, and he has like a birthday present for her. And I was like, it's going to be a gun. I know this is going to be a gun.
Immediately, and I was like, that's a gun.
Sure enough, it was a gun. And she's like immediately like shaking and looks like she's about to start crying, which doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Right, because I was like unclear in this moment. I was like, oh, is this a reaction of like, oh my gosh, it's finally happening.
Right.
I'm getting the agency to do what they've been training me for this whole time, and now I'm going to get out of that warehouse and start doing stuff. Or is this, oh my god, now I actually have to do the thing I've been training? It was unclear.
Yeah. So she is told that it's 6 titanium bullets plus an extra cartridge. And I was like, ooh, titanium bullets.
Right.
Fancy. And he says, behind you is a woman and 2 men and a bodyguard. Kill them. And then in the bathroom, there is a window in the last stall that opens to a courtyard. A car is there waiting. You've got 3 minutes. And then he leaves.
Yeah. And then she spends a good portion of those 3 minutes intensely breathing.
And pulling out the gun in a crowded restaurant in front of a bunch of other people, not discreetly. Like, she's just like holding it in the air as she looks at it. And I was like, girl, what are you doing? And then...
yeah, it's really not at all hidden. Like, the waiter could come over and be like, oh, nice gun.
Right. And then she kills the people. And this is the weirdest thing, Matt. Okay, so she's at presumably a restaurant. We're never told anything other than it's a restaurant, right? Like, it's just a restaurant.
It's a busy restaurant. There's a lot of people there. A lot. And she is in a cocktail dress. Her hair is short to her, like there's nothing in front of her face.
Right.
She's just out there. She is not disguised. By the way, she has a new name than Nikita. She goes by Marie now, I think, right?
Yes.
But she's just out there looking like a normal woman in a cocktail dress. And like you said, she goes over and kills the 3 people by walking over to them in the middle of the restaurant and just shooting them in front of everybody.
Which, by the way, I wouldn't have known who to kill in that scenario because the restaurant was packed.
Yeah.
And there was not like a sign that said, this man is a bodyguard, but she, I assume, killed the right people, I guess. She kills 3 of them. And then it is as though she has attacked an Asian mob. Like, because there are suddenly dozens of men with like semi-automatic weapons flooding the building, chasing after her. They're all Asian men, which I was like, this is strange. Like, are we meant to understand that like she attacked some like Asian embassy or something? Like it was very odd.
I
And like
clocked that too, to the point where I was like, is this police or is this something else?
I don't know. And they certainly weren't policemen. They were like clearly like hired hitmen kind of guys.
Yeah, they were all in like unmarked uniformy type clothes, but nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, it took me like, so this all started happening, and I was like, okay, and then I was like, wait a minute, why are there like 20 men with machine guns just happening to stand outside the doors of this restaurant?
Well, yeah. And then also, like, she killed 3 people. Everyone kind of clears the dining room.
Yes.
She runs into she has this very iconic looking run through the through the hotel, or I don't know what it was, a hotel, restaurant, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I'm still kind of unclear. But she runs through the hallways to get to this bathroom to escape, and then the windows bricked up so she can't get out.
I knew that was going to happen too. I was like, you just know that's too clean. Like something's going to go wrong. And I was like, oh, and at this point, once the window is bricked up, I was like, was this all a setup to basically like she's disposable and they're just going to like let her die? Or was this a test?
I didn't even consider the test. I thought she was, they're trying to kill her.
Which we never find out the answer to either of those, because she does manage, there's like a huge 10-minute long kitchen shootout where she's killing a bunch of guys.
Which
it ends.
By the way, I just wanted to mention, she just killed 3 people in a dining room.
Yes.
Everyone fled. The kitchen is making a meal.
Yes.
Like nothing has happened.
Yes.
For who?
Right.
For who? And they're like, get out of the way, gunslinger. We got mise en place.
Yeah.
And there's this intense shootout in the kitchen that is so intense and crazy. She's, I guess, trained. We're supposed to know she's trained and all this stuff, but she avoids all of it, is a sharpshooter. She shoots through a wall. She shoots through a wall to kill someone.
Yes.
Okay, with her titanium bullet. She goes through a garbage chute, big explosion, whatever. And when she runs through the street kicking, and she runs through the street afterwards.
Yes.
She gets away, barefoot, running through the rain in the street. And I'm thinking to myself, is anybody looking for her?
Right.
Anybody?
Anybody.
Like, she just killed 3 people in front of tons of people.
Yeah.
Have clocked her.
Yeah.
No one is searching for her besides this weird recruited hitmen team.
Yeah.
Weird.
And so then she gets back to the base, and
which is in the police station.
Yeah, which they like don't want to let her back in until she screams at them to like, let me in, asshole.
And so in the face.
And part of me was like, okay, so maybe it was meant to get rid of her, but then they let her back in, and Bob is in her dorm room waiting for her, and she says, Bob, the window was walled up, and he says, of course it was. And she starts beating the shit out of him, and he like restrains her and says like, it's over, you get out tomorrow. And so I was like, was this all a test? Because to me, it seems unwise to invest years of training an assassin to then have the test be like, you could die just because we gave you false information. I don't know. Like, anyway, whatever.
Yeah. But she just accepts that and is like, you jerk. I hate you.
And he says, we have to do this exercise before letting agents out. And he says something about like tonight and all these years. And I was like, all these years? And that's when I figured out, oh, I guess years have passed and I didn't clock that was supposed to have been years. And then he says, I'll miss you. And they kiss, which is weird. And she says, I'll never kiss you again. And I was like, why did you kiss him the first time?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. We need to move along. So she gets set up with a false identity as a nurse at an apartment and given an apartment. She's being told her mission is called Josephine. And so there's something that's going to happen around September. She's going to get a call, and she like goes grocery shopping. Clearly,
we get a live, laugh, love montage of her like with paint all over her face. Getting a gross apartment, grocery shopping, doing ordinary girl things.
Yes.
And
But she again, this woman has apparently never seen a grocery store before because she like doesn't know what to buy, and so she follows another woman around the grocery store, and whatever she buys, she picks up after the woman walks away.
But
And I was like,
she picks up like 10, like the woman will buy a yogurt, so she'll go over to the shelf seconds after the woman walks away, like the Tasmanian devil, and grab like 12 yogurts.
It doesn't make sense.
No, she acts like a little kid who's been given a credit card and told to act like an adult.
Yes.
And then she goes to the checkout person, which they don't show like multiple checkout people. And it's really unclear what's going on with this conversation with the guy. It looks like he doesn't want to help her because she looks crazy and has 100 things.
Yes.
But it seems like he's just kind of kooky and kind of got a weird kind of attitude. And they kind of flirt-ish and click here over her buying cans of ravioli.
Yes.
Which leads to a date on her living room floor.
Yes.
Eating ravioli.
Yes.
And as they eat ravioli, as happens to anybody, whenever you get that Chef Boyardee and you start eating it, blood starts flowing.
Horny.
She's horny as hell and pounces on him and needs him in that moment. And
okay,
gets him.
and he says the grossest line I've ever heard, where she like crawls on top of him, and he says, "Don't start what you can't stop." And I was like, that is not an okay thing to say about sex, because at any point people can say no and you stop.
That's right. That's absolutely right. I mean, this whole thing is it does not make any sense.
No. And then the next thing we see is her being fed breakfast in bed by him. Her hair is red now, so I'm like, okay, I guess more time has passed.
Oh, I didn't even notice it was red.
Yeah, it was a very dark red.
Okay.
And
hey,
he's like,
they changed her hair again.
Yeah. He says, like, we've been together 6 months now. And I was like, okay, so it's 6 months later. Got it.
They make you wait a while, though. You only know
yes.
it changed because furniture is in the house.
Correct.
And he's taking a shower.
Yes. And he starts to question her about her life. He's like, how come you never bring friends here? You have like no relatives, no friends. And she says, because I only love you. Mm-hmm. Or because I love only you.
Yes.
And then
everything
she gets a phone call.
Idyllic, and then she gets that call.
Yes.
And they're like, Josephine?
Yeah. And she's told to be in a specific bar in 1 hour. And then she goes to that bar, and then a man at the bar says, go to this basement in 1 hour. And I was like, why didn't they just tell her to go to the basement in the first place?
Listen, you know, it's spy stuff, okay?
Yes.
It's spy stuff. And her whole cover while she does this kind of thing is that she has a job at a hospital, that she's like on call.
Yes. So in the basement, all of the hotel staff is being held hostage by other agents. Mm-hmm. And there's a really long, drawn-out scene where all she does is deliver a tray of room service to this room and the stuff has been planted with, like, bugs for, like, listening devices.
A lot of, like, him planting the bugs in all the food and, like, her going up as the maid, bringing the recording devices. And we're like, okay. But it's a long scene. It was kind of cool watching it at first, but then I was like, okay, let's get on with it.
Let's move it along. And then she's like, now what? And they say, go home. So she's like, that's it? And they're like, that's it. So she goes home and she's like gone shopping and she's like happy dancing. So I think she's like kind of like, cool, if that's like my job is just to like pose as a maid and deliver her trays periodically, like easy peasy.
Yeah, I got the life. That she was all worried like everything was going to change, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Until she gets a call from Bob. And he's like, weirdly, they have a conversation and she's like obviously flirting with him and stuff, and I miss you and weird. And she invites him for dinner to meet her fiance.
Yeah, and introduces him as Uncle Bob.
And he doesn't look that much older than her. No, but he comes over and he's Uncle Bob, and he's asked by her fiance like questions about her past at the table.
Yeah.
And he comes up with this whole fake story and invents it, and like it's unclear if it's endearing to her or not, but I think it is.
Yeah, I don't know, because again, most of her, when she's not at a 10, she's at a -10, and so I just don't know what emotions she's meant to be portraying.
And then he says he's a travel agent, and he gives them 2 tickets to Venice and says it's for vacation, and it's clear from this like that's her next job.
Yeah.
But she invited him over. What if she didn't invite him over? When was this going to happen? But anyway.
Exactly.
They go to Venice on a gondola ride.
And we get 20 minutes of a gondola scene.
Was that real or green screen, do you think?
It was real. That definitely looked like Venice.
Yeah, it looked great.
Yeah.
I was like, if that was green screen, that was really well done.
Yeah. We get her singing some more, which is never a pleasant experience. And then she calls room service and orders food and says 2 bottles of water. We get thirsty after sex. And I was like, lady, the staff doesn't need to hear that. That is gross.
I
Just
was
shut
like,
up.
stop it. Who are you, Jax Taylor?
Ugh, disgusting.
But talk about a mood killer. She gets the Josephine call as they're waiting for the room service.
Yes.
So she's like,
So-
I suddenly need a bath.
Yes.
She's
they were-
not slick, by the way.
No, that's the whole, my irritation with this whole thing is like, she is never like a cool, calm, collected, like secret agent, knows how to handle things, knows how to cover things up. It's very like, I need a bath and my mood is going to change drastically all of a sudden, which I mean, again, we're meant to understand that this is emotionally affecting her and it's hard to keep up this kind of life, but it's just like, was there no training on how to like
Right. They taught her to
do
smile.
subterfuge? Yeah.
Remember that smile lesson?
Exactly. So in the bathroom, there's like a radio thing and a sniper rifle as she has to murder somebody. Her fiance almost catches her and it's like very stressful for her.
She does a good job. That was pretty cool, like watching her put it together, break out the window pane as the, and then like it's like very last minute, like who's the target? She kills the woman. We never know who she's killing, by the way.
No.
She kills the woman and then he opens the door just as like she's put the gun hidden in the bathtub behind her.
Yeah.
And they have an argument about how she hides things, but instead of being slick and making anything up, she just sits silently until he leaves.
Right.
And then the next scene, we don't know when, she's showing up with a hat that has holes in it, like she's off of a fashion cover of like Vogue in the 80s.
I'm sorry, I referred to it as the Swiss cheese hat because it just has holes missing all around the brim.
Yes! And she visits Bob and says he's sick, so I guess he like planned this whole thing for her to kill this woman and be so tenuous on their trip to ruin her day with her guy because he's jealous.
Yeah.
I guess you can time a murder like that. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
But she's like, she's over it. She gets offered a job,
Yes.
but then she has to prep for 5 months now.
Right.
So she's like, okay, fine. I mean, she can't really say no.
Right.
And then the show like seasons passing.
Yes.
He quit his job, her fiance, and wants to move.
And we also get like scenes of her like surveilling somebody, and like this whole final plot line was very convoluted to me. But there's like this guy who like has keys to like a safe at an embassy, and they need to like figure out how to get the keys from him or whatever.
Very confusing. Art dealer, he has got an assistant, but they're like watching him, and they want to do the job, but they want it to be clean. Like he's an important target, so they have to like she has to take him out, but it can't be messy and it can't be like how she normally does it.
Right. And so she like goes to meet him at an apartment, but it's like unclear why and like
what her role is. She's pretending to be like someone working for him, but I was also unclear like why was she an art dealer?
Exactly.
Anyway.
And then there's another agent in the kitchen who like puts some drugs in the whiskey that she gives him to like put him to sleep. And so she like hands him the whiskey and then puts her gun right up against his eye and says like, drink it up. And this man, and she says, lie down, time to sleep. And he does the worst falling asleep acting I've ever seen in my life, because there is no substance in the world that you ingest like that acts that fast.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was happening. I wasn't sure if he was being poisoned or sedated, but it was, I agree. He passes out like he might as well have been Lisa Vanderpump on Dancing with the Stars. And then a man gets sent in that's like the cleaner, I guess, to like clean this up, but it's never clear that it wasn't supposed to happen the way it happened.
Right. So something has gone wrong in this, but I never understood what went wrong, but like the cleaner is on the way. And his name is Victor. And by the way, this is the one actor I did recognize. I don't know his name, but he is the star of The Professional with, what's her name?
Jean Reno?
I think that's his name, yeah. And The Professional stars like very young, not Anne Hathaway, a very young, what the fuck is her name? Maybe it might be Keira Knightley or the other one who looks like her.
Oh, here. Oh, is it, I know who it is. It's Natalie Portman.
Thank you, Natalie Portman. I was like, there's the three women who look the same to me: Anne Hathaway, Keira Knightley, and the other one that you just said, Natalie Portman. So Anyway, he's there as the cleaner. He starts like there's this scene where he drags the bodies of the bodyguards that he killed on the way into the apartment into the bathtub, and he pours acid on them, but like one of them isn't dead yet, and so his like face is being burned off by the acid and
like convulsing and stuff. But it's like he's the cleaner meant to like clean this up, and he puts the bodies in a bathtub, like a traditional bathtub, and they're like they're fully clothed, they're hanging out, and he's just pouring acid in there, like one little like it looks like a thing you'd have of like Drano.
Correct.
And this is going to clean it up?
And this is very traumatic for Nikita. And Victor and the other agent like end up shooting at each other because they're so upset by this, which I was like, what part of this is upsetting? That somebody's being burned to death by acid? Like, I mean, yes, that would be upsetting.
But you just shot them.
Exactly. It's really weird. One of my notes literally says, what is happening?
My note says Nikita at this point is giving Lisa Rinna.
Yes. And for some reason, like the other agent that got killed by the cleaner, he was going to impersonate the art dealer guy somehow, but now she has to do it. And
yeah,
so she's
he
wearing...
rips off the bad costume and now she wears it and looks nothing like... She looks like... Oh, this is when she's giving Lisa Rinna.
Yes. This
is when she's giving Lisa Rinna in a suit.
And she, to me, did you ever watch 30 Rock? I forget.
Yes.
Okay, do you remember the few times that Liz Lemon hires an attorney and he's like a 12-year-old boy in a giantly oversized suit?
Yes, I do.
That is exactly the vibe she is delivering in this. And she has to go to the embassy wearing this outfit, and somebody like talks to her as though she is being recognized as this other man. And I'm like, she is very obviously a woman in this man's suit.
Yeah, she even has her black hair coming out.
Right.
I think she has a fake mustache.
I don't think she does. I think
she might as well.
Yeah.
I think she's got lashes.
Yeah.
Anyway, she gets to this area. I didn't even know what she was supposed to be doing. She has camera glasses, by the way.
That I thought was cool.
I didn't even know what was happening, though, until like she was looking at it and you're seeing through her glasses. There's nothing to indicate that these are camera, except for you randomly hear little camera noises.
Yes.
They could have done a little better there, but the whole thing is spoiled, though, because someone opens a door. We don't see who, but clearly someone has opened a door, and then dogs just come in.
Right, a dog opens the door, and at first it's just like smiling at her, and she's like frozen, and then it starts growling at her because clearly it's a guard dog, and it recognizes that she's not, I guess, the guy who owns this office or whatever, or this embassy room. So she runs, and outside she runs into Victor, and he's like, time to clean, because like, I guess she didn't get everything she was supposed to, and she's like, no, we'll just go for a little drive. And she says, please, I can't take any more of this. And he kills the guy, an alarm goes off, the guards start shooting at them. Victor gets shot like 10 times by a machine gun.
Yes.
And is somehow still alive and gets in the car, and he drives them through a brick wall.
Very sturdy, not like a one random brick wall, like one set of bricks, like a fortified existing structure through a massive brick wall with a car that is not that big.
As they're careening toward it, I was like, oh, he's killing them both. And then they drive through the brick wall and like drive a few blocks, and then they come to a stop at a stoplight, and she looks over and Victor's dead. And I was like, well, that was a convenient time to die, I guess, while you're at the stoplight, but what?
Yeah, I mean, she's like, okay. And she kind of looks at him and she's like, oh, all right, I guess I'm done. And then she walks away, and the next thing I notice is she's back home in bed with her fiance.
Yes, and he is telling her to quit her job because it's too hard on her. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he says, I know everything. And he says, I know about the stakeouts. I know about the trailings, the video cassettes. Like, I know everything. And we've never seen how he knows all of this. Yeah, but she's like, why didn't you say anything? And he says, because he parrots the line back at her, because I love only you.
He says, sweet.
That was sweet. However, I think if I discovered that my spouse was an assassin, I would have some questions.
For sure. But he's known the whole time. He didn't discover it, you know?
But how would he have discovered it?
Listen, she's not slick.
Known?
She's not slick.
I know, but anyway.
She was in the bathroom busting a tile of glass out, and the only thing covering the noise was the tub.
Yeah.
She assembled a full shotgun and took things off of the wall and under the toilet lid.
Yeah. So, he says,
but then
are
she
you
says
going
to him, like, oh, you're my little Marco. You're the most beautiful. You're only one who's ever supported me. And he's like, oh, are you leaving? And she kind of like nods. And he says like, is there a little place for me? And she says, I think you do better in a big place. And then they kiss and they fornicate, and she watches him sleep through the night.
And then the next morning, Bulb shows up with a carload of other agents, and the fiance answers the door and says, oh, like, have you come to shoot me? And he says, no. And they like sit down and have a drink. And the fiance is like, don't you think she's paid her dues? Don't you think she has the right to live? Like, basically. And he's like, well, as long as she has the documents, like, her life is in danger. And he's like, well, here's the good news. I have the documents. And he like tosses the documents at Bulb. And he says, she left you a note, but I tore it up. And Bob just says, we'll miss her, huh? And the fiance goes, yeah. And then the movie's over.
And the movie's over. So we never find out what all of that was. And also, during that last conversation, he says, hasn't she paid her dues?
Yeah.
And and he's like, well, she killed someone a long time ago. And he's like, yeah, but look at all she's had to do for you in place of that. Like all the other lives. And he's like, well, the person was a police officer. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So she has to kill 1 million more people because he was employed with the police?
Apparently.
And then the guy's like, and I thought, Marco would be like, that's crazy. But he's like, sure.
So,
anyway.
Would you like, I only have 2 pieces of trivia about this movie.
Yeah, I'm curious.
So the first thing is that the very first scene where Nikita is outside the pharmacy, she only has that one line where she says, I need it. The director, who at the time was her husband, had her do that take more than 100 times. And then she later found out that he used the second take in the movie.
Oh my God.
Which I was like, annoying.
Yeah.
He had her train extensively with guns so that she would be at ease with guns during the movie. And apparently she took to practicing loading and unloading fake guns and was doing it in her car one time, which led to her being pulled over by the police and having their guns drawn on her in traffic because they thought she was holding a real weapon.
Oh my God.
Oh God. Okay. What did you think of this movie? What would you rate it? Or actually tell me the ratings.
Okay, so ratings are IMDb gives it a 7.2.
Okay.
Tomato meter on Rotten Tomatoes is 89%, and the audience popcorn meter is 84%.
Okay.
I actually, even though I had a lot to say about this movie and we joked around, I actually liked the movie.
Same, totally. I like, as much fun as I made of it and like was confused and all of that, I still had a fun time watching it. So
yeah, it was about 2 hours, which I wasn't like thrilled about, but I think it was packed I think it could have been probably about 20 minutes shorter for sure.
Yeah.
If we cut out a lot of the long music scenes. But yeah, I thought it was paced well. I liked the action, the shootout scenes and all of that were really like intense and well done.
I'm going to give it a 7 because I think there's definitely a good amount of room for improvement, but I still had a fun time watching it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it right around the same thing. I'll give it a 7 as well. 7 even. I really didn't have any major problems with it. I just wish... Okay, so here's what I hope for the next one and what I think could have been better. The biggest thing is like, who the fuck is Nikita?
Yeah, we need a little bit more depth to her character in order to understand what she's going through in all of this.
Yes. And I do think the actress did really well in this movie, like, of playing this unusually motivated character.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing in the script to give her anything to, like, understand her own motivations, maybe. But, yeah, I need more.
Yeah. And I'm going to say one other thing. I need better hair because, my God, that hair was a main character in this movie.
It really was. The hair and the music. Okay, so unpopular opinion, it kind of felt like a iconic look because it just stayed the same.
Yeah.
through the whole movie. Like this sort of like, I only look at it as like wild haired. I was raised in the Wolves pack. Versus Sabrina Makeover.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's change the music in the next one. Let's make it match at least. Let's decide whether we're thinking it's cute and fun that she's doing a montage of learning how to paint her apartment or not.
Right. Oh, man. Well, so the next one is, what's the name of the remake that we're watching next?
I believe it's called Point of No Return, and I think it's Bridget Fonda.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Fun.
If I'm not mistaken. So that's probably, I think it's also in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken, but that's the English remake of this film.
Fun. Well, Until then, listeners, my love language is podcast reviews and subscriptions. So if you would like to show us a little love, please subscribe to our show and write us a review.
Yes, and another way you can show us love is to tell a friend about our show if you think they might like it. Tell a coworker, post about us on Reddit. Find a way to spread the word.
Our social media is RebootyPod on Instagram, and you can email us at rebootypod@gmail.com. Send us a note and say hi. Suggest another movie-type reboot thing we should do after the Nikita series.
That's right, and thank you so much for listening to Rebooty and the Beast.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.